What's going on, everybody? Welcome back. FantasyTeamAdvisors.com, bringing in the bacon NBA DFS video. It is for Tuesday. It is April 2nd, and we are back with a 7-game main slate for NBA. Now, I didn't have a video yesterday. The internet was going in and out, but anytime we don't have a video, check out FantasyTeamAdvisors.com because we have an article out there. With the article, same thing for today. So, if you come to this channel and you're looking for NBA, if there's not a video, go check out the website. So a couple of things. We try to have a giveaway every single day, 2 giveaways for every video. So how to do that? We already have the video out for MLB, which you have 2 ways to win there, and you go check that out on the channel. And this way. So like the video, be a subscriber, and leave a comment. Any comment you can leave, positive, negative, you have a chance to win. If this video gets at least 50 likes and you've left a comment, you have a chance to win a free week of FTA+. If this video gets 100 likes, you have a chance to win a free month worth $2,500 to DFS and sports betting. 125 likes is a free $200 a year of FTA+, and 150 or more likes on any video has a chance to win a $500 lifetime pass. We have given away a couple of lifetime passes, and we're very excited. I'm still trying to do it. The second way, be a subscriber to the channel, like the video, and tell me who is going to score the most amount of DraftKings fantasy points on this slate today or tonight, and how many fantasy points will they score. If you get it closest without going over, you will win a free week of DFS content. If you get it exactly correct, you will win a free month of FTA+. So 2 ways to win every single video. You could win both of them, and good luck to everybody. Speaking of FTA+, if you get a year or you get a month pass, a year pass, whatever it is every sport. It is not just NBA. So as of now, it's MLB, NASCAR, PGA, NBA, and we do NFL obviously coming back. So MLB, NASCAR, NBA, PGA are the current ones. Possibility looking at UFL, not 100% sure on that one. But as mentioned in our baseball video, we have been asked by a couple of you, I'm not going to name names, but we've extended the offer to this Friday, and then it's gone forever. What is that offer? FTA+ for a year, normally $199. Use the promo code MLBVIP, all one word, all capital letters. Instead of $199 for a yearly pass, it's $75. And that is it. After Friday, the 3 people that wanted it, they'll get it. If anyone else wants it till then, you have a chance as well. Then it is gone forever. So in the description of this video will be today's article, which each position will have 3 top, 3 mid, and 3 value picks. We'll go from there. We also do simulations, and the value will open up throughout the day. And as you'll see, when we get into DraftKings, we will look at game by game. We'll look at the plays that make sense to us. Then we'll build a lineup using the fantasy points allowed by position tool. Now, it's not the only way to build a lineup. It's one of the ways, one of the tools. If you go here, you can see all of the tools on the site. I won't bore you with that. Go check those out. Also in the description is our Discord link, which we're trying to make a great community for MLB, NFL, NBA, whatever it is. So join the community, ask questions. And the reason it's a little bit different than here, news comes out throughout the day and might change some of these plays that we like. In the Discord, we say the core plays for both Fanduel and DraftKings that we like and some value plays to use to build your lineup. So, that being said, let's check out NBA. We'll go game by game. We'll talk about everything and anyone that makes sense. So, let's start with the Lakers versus Toronto. Obviously, actually, that's kind of wild. AD and LeBron both don't have a questionable tag right now. That could change. Usually they do have questionable tags every single day. But the questionable tags are Emmanuel Quickley and RJ Barrett. Agbaji is out. Jonte Porters can't stop betting on himself or against himself or for him. Whatever. He's throwing games. He's out of the league. Jackson Hayes questionable. Vanderbilt is questionable as well. So unlike other DFS channels, they're probably just giving you like 5 plays and that's it. But we're going to give you more. We're going to look at these. Obviously, AD, LeBron James, we know them. Emmanuel Quickley, RJ Barrett. Those plays make sense. We're digging down a little bit deeper to find plays that you might not be into, you might not be on your mindset, and ones that I really like. So Gary Trent Jr. is one that I really like. D'Angelo Russell, tournament probably, just because both AD and LeBron are both in. I'm off of that a little bit. You want to get a little bit value, and what I mean by value is, and people have asked this, basically the bare minimum of what you're looking for cash, 7 times value. So that would be like Grady Dick at 4,800 times 7. So 33.6 is what you'd be looking for set for basically the floor. But you would obviously for tournaments, you're looking for 8.5 times value. So kind of get that in the back of your mind when you're building your lineups, when you see your player pool, and from there. So other ones that make a little bit of sense. Wara here a little bit. It depends. The minutes have been there. He's coming off a couple of good games, especially his price. He's only 4,200 in a game that should be competitive against the Lakers. I don't mind him at 4,200. He's a very value option here, and he might be in my player pool. And then it really just depends on the other players. We look at this. Dinwiddie, I really thought he'd do more when getting traded over here. Really hasn't done much. Even with AD and LeBron not being 100%, you still see 6. You see 7.75. Hasn't really done much. And in those games, AD went 35 minutes against Brooklyn, 47.5, didn't hit value. LeBron, 37 minutes in that game, hit value. So it seems like they're up and down, but both, now he's got a questionable tag. When did that happen? When did that happen? He doesn't have one. What? Let me refresh real quick. Oh, now they have them. Whatever. Again, that's what we're used to. They'll play. Obviously, if they're out, Austin Reeves makes sense. D'Angelo Russell makes sense. Hachimura makes sense, but they'll play most likely. But other value, I think Wara here at 4,200 is probably as low as I would go. And still, Freeman Liberty, I don't mind. Grady Dick, I don't mind. Bruce Brown, I don't mind, especially if they're playing from behind. I like all of these value options. But again, yes, if they're healthy enough to play quickly, Barrett, James, Davis, they all make sense. But you might be able to skew away from them with as many games as there are tonight. Milwaukee versus Washington. I'm afraid of this being a massive blowout and actually coming true. Washington gives up a ton of fantasy points overall to every single position. Giannis is going to be, I would not be surprised if he scores the most. He is questionable, okay? So we look at him, but he is probable. So he should be good to go. I don't see him, I see 70 plus out of him. But my problem is if it is a massive blowout and Giannis, gets 50 or 60, he doesn't hit the value we need, and he might sit if it is a massive blowout. But with Lillard being out, is Lillard actually out? He is ruled out. Okay. So he missed Saturday and is missing Tuesday. So he is ruled out. So Giannis is at the top of my list. Middleton, questionable, but he is probable. So I like a lot of these Milwaukee players. I think they're going to be up big, but I also like Washington players because they're going to be playing from behind and playing for something. So players that I absolutely love are Giannis and Middleton. Players that I will have exposure to, Adija. I'll look at Jordan Poole. I'll look at Bobby Portis. Corey Kispert is a little, they brought him up in price, but Kispert is a mid-tier pick that I would look at. Malik Beasley, let's see what he did with, played 35 minutes with Dame being out, only put up 14.75. He didn't do anything with those minutes. Damn. But in this matchup, he might stay out there and play. So I will have some Malik Beasley exposure there. Pat Bev, we used him the other day and cashed everywhere. Love me some Pat Bev with Dame being out. And we took advantage of that. He had 10 times value. That's what I'm telling you. When you watch these videos, you go with Giannis. The minimum is basically 7 times value, but let's say he gets 5.5 or 6. But then you have a guy at 3,600, Pat Bev, who goes for 10 times value. It equals out. They have brought his price up to 4,500, but I don't mind Patrick Beverley here. He absolutely balled out, 18 points, 36 minutes. He had over one fantasy point per minute in those minutes. Not saying he's played 36 minutes in this game here, But I do love his matchup against Washington. He could absolutely feast again. I'm not saying he's going to get 10 times value at 45 fantasy points. Would not be surprised if he hits 8 times value here. Still think he's underpriced for the matchup that he has. I would definitely use him. You want to go even lower. Pat Connaughton really didn't do much in 16 minutes against Atlanta. Baldwin Jr., it just depends on who's all out. I'm probably off of Baldwin Jr. Depends on who is all out here, but I love me a bunch of Milwaukee players tonight. OKC versus Philly. Embiid, they are actually talking about he could be. Oh, so they have ruled him out. I saw a report that he could possibly be back today, but they've ruled him out at least for one more game. So Tyrese Maxey, it just depends on what we're going to get. He's questionable for this. Coming off some pretty good games here. He's the same price in a matchup that should stay competitive. With Embiid being out, Maxey is that dude. I just don't know if he's going to be in the game. Obviously, all the way down to Paul Reed is what we look at. Value, I don't mind Buddy Hield. Minutes have been there. Points are okay, especially at these prices. I would look at him. Nicholas Batum, we've been using lately. Came through for us against Toronto on Sunday. 28 minutes, 36 fantasy points. Give me all the Batum at 4,200 in a competitive matchup. Love me some Batum. Cameron Payne, on the other hand, he coming off a good game as well. 38 minutes against Toronto there. 135 to 120 was a high-scoring game. Played a lot of minutes. Almost 10 times value. Now he's 4,200. I don't mind Cameron Payne yet again. Another cheap option. Mo Bamba, which Mo are we going to get? We're going to get the 28.75, the 30.75, or are we going to get the 14 fantasy points in 13 minutes with what we saw Sunday? Again, I'm not going to get everything right. I'm not going to be right all the time. I was all over Mo Bamba on Sunday. He did not rise for Easter. He laid down, went back into oblivion for me. I'm probably off Mo Bamba here. Don't care about his price. I'd rather take Paul Reed, Buddy Hield over Mo Bamba. I'd even take Batum over Mo Bamba. Cameron Payne over Mo Bamba. Mo Bamba, you are dead to me. I am looking at Payne, Batum. Don't mind Dort on the OKC side. I'm off of Bamba. I'm on Buddy Hield, Paul Reed as well. There's a lot to like in this matchup. I think it stays competitive, or hopefully at least, and we could get value out of all these in the 5,000 or below range. New York versus Miami. You've got Randall being out. You got Hero being out. Rozier is questionable, and Anunoby is questionable. Rozier is probable now, which is great. Brunson, I'm okay with. Miles McBride, dead to me while Brunson is in the lineup. He could go off for 30 times value, and I'm not taking that. Meaning, Miles McBride, 5,900 times 30. He could put up 177 fantasy points, and he's still dead to me. Absolutely dead to me. Hartenstein, I'm looking at. Duncan Robinson, so he's questionable, but probable. Played for us, so I used him. 28 minutes against Washington, a very bad Washington team. 13.75 fantasy points. Get out of here, Duncan. Get out. Precious, I would look at. Jacquez Jr., I would look at as well. That's probably as low as I'd go. But I am going to be all over some value here. I am going to go Jalen Brunson for sure. Adebayo for sure. Butler, Hart, I'll have exposure. DiVincenzo, I'll have exposure. But I'm off of Miles McBride. I'm probably off of Anunoby if he's even in. I'm off Mitchell Robinson. I'm off Duncan Robinson. So the other plays are Precious and Jacquez in that 4,700 range where I'm looking at. Then we got Houston versus Minnie. Anthony Edwards, love me some Ant. One of the best young guys out there right now. Jalen Green, Fred VanVleet, I'm all for. Karl Anthony Towns being out does open up Rudy Gobert. Usually Gobert has a questionable tag. The minutes are there for Gobert. He's right around 40-ish fantasy points, so I don't mind that price. Price is good. Matchup is good. I will have exposure to Rudy Gobert, but you want to find some value. McDaniels. The minutes have been there for Jaden, but he hasn't done a ton with them. Yeah, he's got 27, 26. I'm up in the air. Probably tournament only for McDaniels, but again. And people have asked, how do I play? Usually when it's a normal, middle, October to February to early March, I'm playing 20 lineups a night. With teams being in the hunt for the playoffs, either being in or out, or on the bubble, you just see these weird game plans going on. So I'm mainly focusing on MLB for my lineups, but I'm still bringing you guys this NBA content as well. Probably play 5 lineups. I don't think I'll play that many lineups. But I don't mind Nikhil Alexander Walker. Aaron Holiday is a cheap option. The minutes have been there. He's actually coming off a really good game in a match. If he could get that minutes again, like they say, the minutes have been sporadic. 10, 11, 24, 20, 23. When he gets the minutes, he's been pretty good. They've dropped his price down. Aaron Holiday could be a cheap option here. He could get close to 10 times value and help you go with Giannis, help you go with the bigger guys. So I honestly don't mind Aaron Holiday at all. That's probably as low as I'd go, would be Aaron Holiday. I don't mind Walker. I don't mind Whitmore, Brooks, and stuff like that. So lowest I would go would be Aaron Holiday, but I think he'll go under owned. I think he could be kind of sneaky tonight. Cleveland, Utah. Utah loves to give up fantasy points. They give up a ton of fantasy points. I'm all in on Donovan Mitchell. I'm all in on Jared Allen, Darius Garland, Mobley, LeVert. I don't mind those guys. Value options in this matchup, Walker Kessler a little bit, Taylor Hendricks a little bit, Chris Dunn, Sensabaugh. I'm confused what he's going to do. Sacramento, they lost big, so he got extra minutes. 34 minutes in that game, 36 fantasy points. Then 25 minutes, 13, 16, 27, and he barely did anything with those. His price of $4,300, if they are behind, I don't mind Sensabaugh. It does allow you to pay up at other positions. I don't mind him. Georges Niang here, you could look at him. Also, minutes, fantasy points fluctuate a lot. In a game, if they are up big, I think he could be a sneaky option. But again, he's a tournament-only option, and he hasn't done a lot this year. Sam Merrill's also another one that the cards have to fall into his lap. The minutes have to be there, and they have to be up pretty big to make me feel confident about that. Then we look at this. San Antonio, last I looked, give up the most amount of fantasy points to the center position. So Jokic, love me some Jokic here, as long as the game stays close. Victor, same thing, a little bit cheaper option, obviously, but Jokic has a fantastic matchup. We got a lot of questionable tags here, and then some value we could be looking at. Branham, I've mentioned it before, and I'll say it again. We did use him on Sunday. It's getting to the point where even if Victor is in, Branham might be a good option. They have bumped his price up to $4,100. So I would still love him. I used him when he was $3,500, got his 20.25 fantasy points, which is perfect for his price. Scared a little bit about this price. If the game stays close, Branham might not get as much run as we want. I don't think he's going to get 30 minutes unless something happens. But Sokin being out, Vassell was ran. So that's the thing. Vassell was one of our core plays on Sunday. Then after I made the lineups, after they were posted 30 minutes before tip-off, Vassell was ruled out. That is why Branham got as many minutes as he did. If Vassell is out again, I'm all in on Branham. If Vassell is in, I'm probably 10% on Branham and tournaments only. So it'll really depend on Vassell. We'll see why was he out with his foot. Yeah, so I mean, it really just depends. If Vassell is out, love me some Branham. It will really depend on Vassell, though. That's probably as low as I'd go as Branham. I don't trust anyone else. Maybe DeAndre Jordan if they are up big, but he really been so inconsistent. It's wild that he put up almost 20 fantasy points in 10 minutes, but yeah. Tournament, Jordan, I'm okay with, but I just don't think he gets in as much. And I don't even know how you say that name. Mamukaslavili? I mean, he played 25 minutes there. I mean, 3,600 and coming off of 29.75 fantasy points, played 25 minutes. Don't know how to say his name, but if you want to get a little bit crazy because they are going up against Jokic, I don't mind Mr. Mamaduke. I'm going to call him Mamaduke. I don't mind him, to be honest. So there you have it. Those are the breakdowns of all of the games. Now we are going to build a lineup using one of the tools. Not all of the tools, not the only way to build a lineup, but we are going to using the fantasy points allowed by position tool, which you can find on the website under the NBA tab. So go check that out if you have not already. And let's build a lineup. So we look at this. So against the point guard position, San Antonio, like I said, they give up a ton of fantasy points. They give up the most amount to the point guard, followed by Utah. So both San Antonio and Utah are neck and neck in giving up fantasy points. The point guard, San Antonio and Utah. So we are looking at Denver and we are looking at Cleveland. So we're looking at Donovan Mitchell. We're looking at Darius Garland. We are looking at Jamal Murray, questionable. Let's see if he's going to be in or out. Won't play Sunday. Next week, the boo, boo, boo. Yeah, so if Murray is out, Reggie Jackson is a fantastic option at 5,200. Donovan Mitchell is in a great matchup. Looking at his minutes, we're looking at 30-plus minutes here. Great matchup in a game that should be high-paced, should see a lot of points. I'm going to take Donovan Mitchell here. So now we move to the shooting guard position. We look at this. Washington gives up the most, followed by Utah. So, like I said, Utah gives up a ton of points. So, Milwaukee and Cleveland again. So, Karis LeVert at 6,700, Max Strus at 5,500, Malik Beasley, who didn't really do much with Dame being out. I'm probably off of him. Pat Bev, 4,500. I'm all in on Pat Bev. Loved what he did last time. Going to have that questionable tag. He's got even with like a torn tendon in his wrist, he put up 10 times value. They have bumped his price up, but again, he's got a great matchup. This is a tournament lineup. This is not a cash lineup. So we move to the small forward position. You got Utah, Washington, Toronto. It's the same guys. Like, it's the same. So Lakers. It goes Lakers, or it goes, it would in order go Cleveland, then it would go Milwaukee, then it would go Lakers. But we look at this. For small forward, LeBron at 9,800 is in a good matchup here. Chris Middleton would be in a good matchup against Washington. Strus, Niang, if you want that value like we talked about. Those are all ones you could look at. So if you want to pay up at other positions, I might avoid LeBron today. I might look at like Middleton. Let's see, his probable, what'd he do? 36 minutes on Saturday. 40.5 fantasy points. I'm probably going with Chris Middleton here. LeBron, I don't mind. I think it's interchangeable, but he is more expensive. It might be harder to build a lineup around him because you will see once we get to the center position. Moving to power forward, Utah, Toronto, Atlanta, Charlotte, Washington. So Utah, again, gives up a lot. So power forward for Utah will be Cleveland, Evan Mobley, Georges Niang if you want to go cheaper, depending on the way the lineup goes. The minutes have been there for Mobley, 29 minutes, 31-31, coming off 34, 45, 29, 29. We look at splits. He has not faced Utah this year. Then we come down to Yang. We look at him. Splits-wise, he faced Utah once this year, put up 18.8 fantasy points at 4,000. The minutes have been there for him. It will come down to how many minutes he actually gets. If he could get 30 minutes again, like he did versus Philly, we could see 30-plus fantasy points at 4,000. So I'm going to go with another cheaper option there. And that just allows us 6,300 the rest of the way, average for position. But you'll see what I'm talking about when actually Portland gives up the most now to – I didn't realize that. Portland gives up the most to centers, followed by Washington, followed by San Antonio. So that brings us Portland, Washington, so then Milwaukee, which you could do Giannis, you could do Bobby Portis, you could do Brook Lopez, which would be a cheap option. Brook Lopez didn't do much in that set. And then followed by San Antonio, which is Jokic. We're looking at Jokic here. Did he play him? He's played him twice this year. He's averaged 58.8 fantasy points there. Let's see what he did last game. Last game against them put up 50.25. And the game before that, he put up, where is it? Did I miss it? Put up 67.25 at 12,800. I'm going with Jokic here. I'm paying up, and then 4,400 the rest of the way. You got to get a little creative because 4,400 is nothing to scoff at. But Let's go utility, because we did talk about some of these plays down here that we kind of liked. If Vassell is out, Branham is one of the plays that I like. Kaysen Wallace has always been a value option that we've gone to. Did not work out on Sunday, but worked out the game before that, the 29th. Sam Merrill kind of makes sense a little bit. Mamaduke at 3,600. I'm going to use him. Again, this is a tournament lineup. This is one where maybe we have to update this lineup later on down the road because maybe he's out. Maybe this person's in. That's why we do simulations too. So that leaves us with an average of 4,900 for guard and forward. So we've seen some of these plays. We've talked about some of these plays. When we get down here, push comes to shove. I'm going to go Branham here if Vassell is out. Now for forward, we can 5,700 is what we can work with. Corey Kispert, like we talked about, if he's playing from behind big, could get the minutes. Max Strus, same thing. Utah gives up a ton of points. That's why we have a bunch of that's why we have Mitchell and Yang right here. Duncan Robinson I'm off of. Keldon Johnson might be out. We talked about Hendricks. We talked about Grady Dick at 4,800. Don't really like him. So I think it's Corey Kispert for me. This is one lineup, not the only way. There are definitely other ways to build lineups. This is one tool brought to you by FantasyTeamAdvisors.com. Make sure you go check out our MLB content as well. Good luck on this slate. And as always, let's bring home some bacon. Peace!